2 years tomorrow. By all the holy sodding ancestors, how can you people just ignore that?
Branka didn't go alone, Oghren. She took the whole house, everybody but you. So just get over to Tapster's and drown yourself already. You know as well as I do that's how this always ends.
You think I'm afraid of some cub warrior who's barely off the teat? Ha! I'll...
You lift a weapon or attack a single citizen in Orzammar, and you're stripped of your caste and exiled. Even you can't have forgotten that. Get out of here before I call a guardsman. Can you believe it? Ogren's barely even warrior caste anymore, and he just clomps in here like he's entitled. I'm Loylanar Ivo, warrior, which is more than I can say for that useless sod. Ogren's a drunken wretch. He comes up here 2-3 times a week, hounding people to lead some suicidal rescue mission after Branka. Gets quite violent about it. I'd be scared if they hadn't practically gelded him after he killed young Lord Mino. The only Paragon in the last 4 generations. Quite an honor for a girl from the Smith caste. She invented a smokeless fuel that let the Smith caste increase their output by nearly 1/3. Deaths from the Black Lung also dropped. The Assembly said she had the favor of the ancestors and declared her a Paragon. They moved Branka, Oghren, and all their relatives to the noble caste and founded a new house in her name. Well, before she was a Paragon, she was just a Smith. And Oghren was one of the best warriors of his generation. Chasing some old treasure, she was quite secretive. Outright rude, really. She said she never asked to found a house, that she didn't care about politics, and that we were too self-absorbed to defeat the Darkspawn. She actually threatened anyone who said they'd come after her. They were the highway system of our old empire. We lost them to the Darkspawn generations ago. No one ventures there now except on organized advances to clear Darkspawn nests, or with Branka. She's still his wife, isn't she? Even if she took their entire house into the deep roads and abandoned him. It's been 2 years since Branka left. No one has ever stayed in the deep roads that long and survived. The search teams who went out found nothing, but Oghren wants to keep risking lives searching. Did you see any guardsmen? Tell them Oghren was at it again.
I heard the news. Jarvia and her Carter are dead. I suppose it was unrealistic to expect them to surrender. Would that some of the noble caste had such loyalty. I have no desire to go back on my word. But when Balin heard the news about Jarvia, he raised the stakes. He is forcing a vote in the next 2 days. By law, that prevents the Assembly from hearing any other pleas. To help with your troops, I will require your assistance one last time. Do you know anything of the Paragon Branka? Branka is a Paragon. The only one we have been blessed with in 4 generations. 2 years ago, she took her entire house into the deep roads on a mad quest to uncover ancient secrets. No one's heard from her since. Were she to return and endorse someone for the throne, the Assembly would be honor-bound to accept her wishes. Her entire house went with her. It would take a lot to kill so many. If not, bringing proof of her death, or a body to return to the stone, would still show that as an ancestor, it was my hand she guided to her remains. It's hard to say what she would do. She wasn't exactly known for her predictability. She never seemed to like being a Paragon. She was devoted to her craft, never cared for politics. But one of the most brilliant minds Orzammar has seen. Branka hated Darkspawn with a passion. She would certainly be a valuable voice to support your treaty. My men traced Branka's disappearance to an ancient crossroads known as Caradin's Cross. It is many miles below where we normally venture. but I can provide a map to lead you there. Just enter the deep roads through the mines. Thank you again. And may the ancestors guide your steps.
Stranger, have you seen a Grey Warden hereabouts? I've been privy to the rumor that he, or was that she? You understand this was many mugs ago. Was searching for Branka on Lord Harriman's own command. Well, if you're the best they got, then standards must have fallen way down. But I suppose that would account for an elf being down here. Say, could I ask you a favor? Name's Oghren, and if you've ever heard of me before, it's probably all been about how I piss ale and kill little boys who look at me wrong. And that's mostly true. But the part they never say is how I'm the only one still trying to save our only Paragon. And if you're looking for Branka, I'm the only one who knows what she was looking for, which might be pretty sodding helpful in finding her. Believe me, I have. But where she was going, it's a lost Thaig. No one's seen it in centuries. I searched as far as I could, but it would take teams of warriors searching weeks on end to cover enough ground to hope to find it. Which I assume is just what Harriman's men have done. And they shared what they found with you. But they haven't found Branka herself. And that means whatever they've got, it's not enough if you don't know what she was looking for. If we pool our knowledge, we stand a chance of finding Branka. Otherwise, good sodding luck. It's the deep roads. I'll kill Darkspawn. Outside of that, what difference does it make? Branka was a brilliant girl, but half the time she'd add 2 and 2 and make it 50. You want to find her, you need someone who knows how she thinks. I'm not some sodding elf maiden who sits around and waits for a passing hero to solve my problems. I'm a bloody warrior. I mean to get her back. And you wouldn't be down here if you weren't trying for the same thing. Branka was looking for the Anvil of the Void. Might have been the most important invention in Orzammar's history. The smith Paragon built it. And with it, Orzammar had 100 years of peace, while it was protected by the golems forged on the Anvil. As far as anyone knows, the Anvil was built in the old Orton Thaig. Branka planned to start looking there, if she could ever find it. All she knew was that it was past Caridon's Cross. No one's seen that Thaig for 500 years. If we're going, let's get moving. Branka's not gonna sodding find herself.
What's this? An elf? I'm sorry, but I cannot allow you past the front lines without Adesha's permission.
Open your eyes, man! This Grey Warden is on a quest to find your Paragon. Do I have to take your stinking head off?
Oghren could have been Adesha for House Branka. I suppose he's the next best thing in both skill and arrogance. You may pass. I'd offer more assistance, but my command post is here. All of Orzammar relies on us to hold this line. Your guess is as good as mine. No one's been there in centuries, but both Balin and Harriman had men looking just this week. Of course not. Down here, you're bound to run into giant spiders, deep stalkers, and other vermin. Ugly beasts they are. Walk on 2 legs, but they have the head of a worm and hunt in packs. Watch out. They're not afraid to take on a group their own size. A few outposts. Legion of the Dead mostly, fools that they are. Some scavenger types too. It's an independent company of soldiers. They accept no command but their own. Anyone who can bear arms can join, no matter his crimes, or sanity. They hold a funeral when they join, and swear their only goal is a glorious death. Best of luck.
Karaden's Cross. I can't believe Harrowmont actually tracked this place down. This used to be one of the biggest crossroads in the old Empire. You could get anywhere from here, including Thaigs. Aye. Branka dug up some maps of the ancient empire. It's a little tough to tell with so much of it collapsed now, but near as I can figure, we're on the right path to Thaigs. Not a one, but trust me, we will once we're on the path to the old Thaigs. She was going to Karaden's home. It's the home of Karaden, the Paragon who made the anvil. He was an Orton before he founded his own house, and even then, he spent most of his time in their Thaig. Branka figured it was the best guess for where the anvil was located. No one but Karaden ever really knew more than it had some kind of stone-blessed power. Every golem who ever ranged across the Empire was hammered on the steel of that anvil, but no one ever knew exactly how they were made. But Branka was sure she could find out. I've been waiting for someone to say that for 2 sodding years.
Well, look what we have here. A couple of Harrowmont's little lackeys. Let's show them who's king!
Enemies
So, you and the Grey Warden, huh?
I hope you're not referring to Alistair.
Him? Does he even like girls?
I believe the matter is still up for debate.
Anyway, you and the Grey Warden,
Do you actually have a question, Dwarf, or is it your intention simply to leer and drool?
stick with the classics. Leer and drool.
I thought so.
What's that? A trap?
Tits of my ancestors. Thaig. I never thought I'd see this place in the flesh. I can see Branka all over this place. She always took chips from the walls at regular intervals when she was in a new tunnel. Checked their composition. If she was still here, though, she'd have sentries out by now. Well, aren't you a sodding bright spot today? If everyone's dead, there'd be evidence of a major battle, wouldn't there? 300 or so dwarves don't just fade away. This was Karaden's home Thaig. He was an Orton before he got raised to Paragon. Even stayed here when he could have had his own house. I guess he didn't want to move his people to Bunamar. The City of the Dead. Karaden built it to honor the Legion of the Dead, but it was more like a sodding mausoleum than anything. Of course, that was all before he built the anvil. After that, he was the city's pet genius, until he angered the king and fell into disfavor. No, there was a Thaig here. The Orton Thaig. Bunamar is north and west of here. But that's not important. Or at least I hope it isn't. The City of the Dead is known as the Dead Trenches since the Darkspawn conquered it. Much of the Legion was destroyed when the fortress fell. No one does. At the time, Thaigs was almost part of the main city. No one bothered to mark where the anvil was stored. Now it's impossible to know if it's been moved or even destroyed. But trust me, if we find it, we find Branka. Couldn't have said it better myself.
That is a most offensive odor.
And you're looking at me?
Should I be looking elsewhere? Have you forgotten about the fish you stored in your backpack, perhaps?
I was saving it. Won't be ready for the live for at least another day.
Even the Chastened did not have such disgusting habits, and they consumed the flesh of the dead.
Fine, fine. I'll soak it in the line now. Have it your way, Miss Squeamish.
That's not what I... no, never mind. Just get it over with, quickly.
Branka was thinking about me. I knew she still cared. Old softy. Looks like the Dead Trenches is our next stop then. They say the Darkspawn nest there. Whole herds of them. But if that's where Branka went, then that's where I'm going.